Hello everyone, I Jhalak Patel, Assistant Professor at LJ Institute of Engineering and Technology in the Department of Electronics and Communication. Welcomes you to the session of Wireless Communication. Today I am going to discuss about Unit 3, that is Mobile Radio Propagation, Small Scale Fading and Diversity, with topic Small Scale Fading, Doppler effect and its example. So let's start the session. First of all, we already discussed about the large scale propagation in the previous lectures. Now onwards we discuss about the small scale fading. So first of all, let me give you the idea about what is fading. So first of all, the fading is related with the rapid fluctuations of signals. This signal can be rapidly change or fluctuate with respect to time, means its amplitude is continuously varying in case of fading, so it is generally not desirable to have fading. Next is about the multipath signals. Now in the previous lectures, in the session of free space propagation, we have seen that free space propagation occurs when there is a clear line of sight, means clear LOS between transmitter and receiver. So in that case, the clear line of sight occurs. Now when there is an obstruction present between transmitter and receiver, then there is a possibility of more than one path from where the signal can be transmitted. So due to that obstruction, the path can be divided into two paths, like first is from transmitter to receiver, which is one line of sight distance, and the other is due to the obstruction present in between the transmitter and receiver. Next is about the factors affecting small scale fading. So first factor is multipath propagation. Multipath propagation, that we already discussed, that if there is more than one path or if there is an obstruction present between the transmitter and receiver, then this signal will be faded and divided into the various paths. So it is one of the factor for fading. Next is speed of mobile. If user is traveling from the base station, then its distance will continuously vary. Due to the distance is varying, it may affect the velocity of that particular mobile user. So this is also one factor that affecting the small scale fading. Next is speed of surrounding object. If the base station is fixed, if mobile user is also connected with it and it is stationary, then also some surrounding object also present. This surrounding object works as an obstacle between that particular mobile station and base station, so it also matters. Next is transmission bandwidth. If the signal that is transmitted through the one system has the lesser bandwidth than the original propagating signal, then also this factor affecting the fading and creates the multipath propagation or fluctuations in the original signal, which is not generally desirable. So these are the different factors that are affecting the small scale fading. This question can also be asked in a 3 marks, that discuss about the factors affecting small scale fading. Next is Doppler shift. So for discussing the Doppler shift, here you have to consider that the particular user 1 is traveling from point A to point B, like this. If I draw one system, then it is like this. Here one point A and here one point B is there. This point is called as A point and this point is point B. Now if user is continuously travel from point A to point B, then there should be one angle that is present over here, which makes an angle theta with original distance. Here distance is from A to B. Here this distance is mentioned as you can mention it with D or with L. Here we use the term L with for this difference. So let's start with some calculation related to Doppler shift. So first of all, here we consider that if mobile is moving with velocity v from point A to B, then here the phase will be changed in the received signal due to this angle change. This phase change is given by delta phi. Now if you remember the path difference term in wave propagation, then the path difference over here is called delta L, and if you want to find out the phase difference, then it is basically the phase constant time path difference. So it is now here the phase constant is 2 pi by lambda, so phase difference is 2 pi by lambda times path difference. That means delta phi is equal to 2 pi by lambda into delta L. So this is our phase difference. It can also be denoted by psi. Psi is also called as a phase difference, where here the path difference delta L. Now originally the velocity is equal to distance upon time. So here the delta L means the path difference, it should be multiplication of velocity and time. That means v into delta t. Now if you think about this distance, then it is d cos theta. If we denote it as small d, then this distance will be d cos theta, AB distance. So we write here the v delta t times cos theta. So this delta L is called as the path difference. Now change in, if we want to find out the change in frequency, now this change in frequency is also called as a Doppler frequency. Normally change in frequency is denoted by the d omega, where omega is called as an angular frequency. So basically the d omega is equal to d psi by dt, where psi is the phase difference. But over here, instead of the phase difference denoted by psi, we use the symbol delta phi. That's why once again it can be written like this. If we write in terms of omega, then it is like omega equal to d psi by dt. D psi, in place of psi we write over here d phi by dt. So over here this phi term is called as delta phi. So omega equal to d psi by dt. In place of d psi we write delta phi by delta t. Now this omega is nothing but called as a angular frequency. So in place of this angular frequency we write 2 pi f. So basically the equation will become 2 pi f equal to delta phi upon delta t. If we make the subject as small f, means frequency, then it can be written like this: 1 upon 2 pi delta phi upon delta t. Now it can also be write as a v cos theta upon lambda. If we write in terms of the frequency term with the velocity and wavelength, if you remember the equation c is equal to f lambda, then it can also written like this: f is equal to v cos theta upon lambda. So you can use this both equation in the examples of Doppler shift, either this equation or this equation. If this delta phi is given, then you should use this equation. If velocity and wavelength will be given, then you should use this equation. Now here we take these two figures for the change of frequency. In the first figure, when the change in frequency is due to the relative motion but the source is stationary. So in that case you can see that over here there is no change in frequency will be seen. Means this figure is for the user when it is stationary or when it does not move from one place to another place. Now what happens when user is not stationary or moving around? So when user is continuously moving around, so you can see that the frequency initially when user is stationary, frequency is constant, or we can say that there will be a lower frequency. But when user is moving, then when user is moving, then velocity will increase, and if velocity is increased, then according to our formula of F for Doppler shift, this last equation, you can see that if velocity will increase and Doppler frequency will also increase. So according to this, we can see that this frequency will be increases when user is moving. So these are the two concepts for Doppler shift, when how velocity is affected the shifted frequency. Next is one example. Here consider one example that an aircraft is heading towards a control tower with 500 km per hour with an elevation of 20 degree. Communication occurs at 900 MHz. Here we have to find out the Doppler shift. So what we have to do is, first of all, let's note down the data that is given in the problem statement. So first of all, velocity is given, that is 500 kmph, means kilometer per hour. So we will convert it into meter per second. Per hour means you have to divide this by 3600. So it will be like this, 138.88 meter per second. Here theta angle is given, theta is 20 degree. Lambda is 0.33 meter. Here frequency is given. If you want to find out the wavelength, then it is the equation is C is equal to F lambda. You have the value of C. C means the free space speed, which is 3 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second. You have the frequency, that is 900 megahertz. So you can easily calculate the wavelength, which is equal to 0.33 meter. So now the Doppler shift is given by F is equal to V cos theta upon lambda. We have all the values of velocity, angle and wavelength. So let's put the values. So it will becomes like this. V is equal to 138.8 into cos 20 degree divided by 0.33. So the Doppler frequency will become 390 Hz. So this is our answer for Doppler frequency. Now let's take the another example. Consider this question, that consider a transmitter that radiates a sinusoidal carrier frequency of 1850 MHz for vehicle moving 26.82 meter per second. Calculate received frequency if mobile is moving, number 1 directly towards transmitter, number 2 directly away from the transmitter, and number 3 in a direction that is perpendicular to the direction of arrival of transmitted signal. So here we have to find out the Doppler frequency for 3 individual cases, when it is moving towards transmitter, when it is moving away from the transmitter, and the third one is when it is perpendicular to the direction of arrival. So first let's note down all the values. First the frequency is given, that is 1850 MHz. Velocity is given 26.82. So first we take the case of directly towards transmitter. So here when user is moving towards transmitter, means you have to make the addition of both frequency, because user is moving towards transmitter, so both frequency should be added. So now let's see what happen is, here theta is equal to 0 degree. Okay, here no angle is given, that's why we take theta by default as 0. In the third case perpendicular is mentioned, so we take theta equal to 90 degree for that case. In this both case no angle will be mentioned, that's why we take theta equal to 0 degree. Now F equal to Fc plus Fd, we have to find out first this Fd. We already have the value of Fc, means carrier frequency. Carrier frequency is 1850 MHz, so we just put the value over here. So we have to first find out the Doppler frequency. So it will be equal to Fc plus V upon lambda cos theta. We already have the equation for Doppler frequency. F is equal to V cos theta upon lambda. Here V upon lambda cos 0 degree. We have the value of velocity, that is 26.82. We have the value of lambda. We can find out the value of lambda using frequency and free space speed. C is equal to F lambda, and then find out the value of lambda and put it over here. So it will be like this. First of all 1850 megahertz. So 1850 into 10 raised to 6 plus 26.82 cos 0. Cos 0 will become 1. Divide by lambda. Lambda is 0.162. If you find out the value of lambda, you can find out using this 1850. So C is equal to f lambda. You can find out lambda and put it over here. If you calculate this, then it will be like this: 1850 into 10 raised to 6 plus 165.55. So the answer will be like this: 1850.000166 megahertz. This answer is when user is moving towards the transmitter. Now what happened when user is moving away from the transmitter? So in that case we have to make the subtraction from carrier frequency. So it will be like this. Again the angle is 0. F equal to Fc minus Fd. So Fc is carrier frequency. Again we have to find out the value of Doppler frequency. So Doppler frequency is v cos theta upon lambda. So again we do not have the value of theta mentioned in the equation. So again we take the by default value of theta as theta equal to 0. So it is Fc minus v upon lambda cos 0. So Fc is equal to 1850 into 10 raised to 6 minus 26.82. Cos 0 is again 1 upon 0.162. So if you solve this equation, you have the answer like this: 1849.999834 megahertz. So this answer will be when the mobile is moving directly away from the transmitter. Now let's moving towards the third case. Third case is when the angle is perpendicular to the direction of arrival signal. So this will happen when theta is equal to 90 degree. Over here the perpendicular term is mentioned. So perpendicular means theta is equal to 90 degree. So we take over here theta equal to 90 degree. So first we calculate the Doppler frequency. If you remember the equation of Doppler frequency, it is like this: v upon lambda cos theta. Over here in the third case theta is 90 degree. That's why Fd is equal to v upon lambda cos 90, but cos 90 is equal to 0. That's why Doppler shift Fd, this value is nothing but the value of this Doppler frequency. This is called as Fd, Doppler frequency value. So now let's put the value over the overall frequency. So it is like F equal to Fc plus Fd, addition of Fc and Fd for this. So there is no Doppler shift is needed in this case, because here if you see that cos 90 will become 0, means no Doppler shift is needed in this case. So this is the example of Doppler effect. This question is asked in the GTU for the 7 marks as an example. Now in the next session, here please mention this answer, that the received signal frequency is equal to transmitted signal frequency equal to 1850 megahertz. Now in the next session we will see about how the Doppler frequency will affect the various spreading mechanisms. Then we see another example of this Doppler effect and about the delay spread and its propagation. So if you have any query up to this, you can message me on my WhatsApp number. Thank you for watching.